So to last season's angling, I was told that there was always a chance of a winter bite at St Ives on the Second Drove. The Second Drove is a set of lakes sort of situated at the back of the complex. They're not as big as a lot of the big pits over there. So I thought maybe after hearing that the old big girl in there comes out in the winter, I might have a chance of catching it over the winter. And the best laid plans and all that, it didn't go too well, to be honest. And I remember it was fought up because in the November we was all going to have a social down there, and that didn't happen because it was too cold. And then when it froze December, January time, it just was not a good idea, and it was not going to be a good winter campaign on the water that didn't even wobble. So it sort of ended up beginning late February into March, and I was mostly down there a couple of days a week looking for carp. And to be honest, St Ives, living up to its reputation, it wasn't until about the middle of March before I even saw my first carp. Funnily enough, the area that I saw the carp on, swimming about in, to be precise, is an area which I actually caught the big old girl from. This is a seriously old carp, and it's definitely a special one, and it's one that I dearly wanted to catch. Second Drove, the Ivo. Let me put that into place. The Ivo is definitely a lot smaller lake, so I definitely thought a winter bite was on the cards. It's probably only acre and a half. It's not a very big lake, surrounded by trees, old trees that overhang. It's an idyllic, lovely little water. It's got a couple of bars in it. It's got lily pads. It's got everything to set the scene and make it a lovely little carp water. March through to April, I fished it as hard as I could, and I have to be honest with you, there was nothing going down there. I saw a few bream, and I think I might have seen one carp stick its head out in the middle of the lake, and it really got a bit difficult, and all sorts of things were going on in my head. What am I doing here? And it wasn't until about mid-April things seemed to brighten up, warm up. The world was looking more springful in itself, and I finally found, with the help from a friend, Martin Lawrence, the Bibby Tramp himself, there was a group of fish that kept hiding away in one corner underneath a massive overhanging tree. And I started here and eventually managed to catch a carp, albeit it was one that was really rare to the bank. I don't think it had been out in quite a few years, and that was the little Lynn. So to be off on the mark with one that was quite a rare one out of there was a great start, fired me up with confidence, and within a couple of weeks I was back down fishing a few swims to the right of this, and managed another fish that actually hadn't even ever been caught out of that lake. It actually flooded in from the lake next door, so it was the first time that ever got caught out there. We aptly named it the Womble. It's a beautiful golden bar shining in all its glory in the spring, and a St Ives fish to boot. So around mid-May I found myself back down at the lake, back down on the Second Drove, back down on the Ivo, and things had definitely got a lot warmer. The bream had decided to spawn in the corner where I caught the Ivo Lynn, but funny enough, opposite that corner, the bank halfway up the back of the Ivo, I'd found carp moving in between a set of lily pads, and I fished there the afternoon with my son and my girlfriend, and we could see the carp moving up and down. I remember them leaving me in the evening and waking up the next morning, putting a pack of sausages in the saucepan, frying them away, and yeah, lucky enough the right rod just absolutely bent round, took me straight out to the lily pad bed, got it away from the lily pad bed, straight down to the other lily pad bed, and I thought, well, this is definitely not a bream. Straight into the tree to my right, hectic battle, close quarters, tight little swim, and yeah, it had taken me quite a few months, but when that old girl rolled over that spreader block, I was one happy man. Yeah, it was good memories. That was good. That was good. So after catching that wonderful old creature from the second drove, there was really only one target left, which was the round brown. Trouble is, I got a bit waylaid and got captivated by the magic of the long reach. This 40-acre pit, low stock, has had me coming back to it time and time again, and it was getting into the beginning of June now, and being on there a couple of years before, I knew that it was just the right time to have a go. There's a fully scaled character in there, and of course the biggest mirror being Starburst. I've seen it on the bank twice. It was one that I just needed to have it, really. Needed to get it. Right, where were we? Starburst and the long reach. The weather, beginning of June, it was hectic. It was an absolute storm blowing down the lake. I remember my brolly getting blown away. It was just like a hurricane had hit the place. I remember hanging on for dear life all night long, and then in the morning something incredible happened. Now the long reach isn't renowned for doing fish. It's lucky to have 3-4 fish in a season. To have that many in the morning, I was just over the moon. Fishing, I'd been baiting actually 3 swims. It sounds crazy, but I wanted to draw the fish in from the whole lake into an area and see which one was going to fish best, and it was definitely the right hand swim, like the right hand rod that always goes off. And basically a guy dropped in and had 2 crackers from there the day before, and jumping in behind him, yeah, sure enough, I had a hit of fish in the morning, to which one of them was actually Starburst. So the biggest mirror in the lake. I was a very happy man. Things were definitely coming to plan. I didn't want to leave. I really didn't want to leave. It's a lake that it's a place that I fall in love with. It's the place that makes it, and the people definitely make a place. The anglers on there are all of the same nature. They just understand, they love and they respect that the fish in there are something special. And yeah, I didn't leave. A couple of weeks later I was back down, and somehow I managed to catch another 2 carp, which it ended up being a total of about 7 fish in a couple of weeks, and I was just completely blown away. My luck was definitely in. From there it was on to fishing for the brown. To the meadow then, the big fjords, the little fjords, the stake pit. We're talking acres and acres and acres. It's just a minefield to get round, and I've known people to walk around there and actually get lost walking around it. The only one that I really wanted there is the round brown, and it was no distractions now, albeit I wish it was the case, because starting off on the meadow, seeing carp, late summer, cruising around, Managed to grab 2 carp, a common and a mirror. I think they were mid-20s. It's a big expanse of water. I don't know what it is about fishing big pits like that. It just seems time just gets on top of you. And I had a bit of a distraction, and I ended up wandering onto a water where I'd done quite well in the spring. I kept nipping back to the Woolpack in Godmanchester, Cambridgeshire. And I even managed to catch a rare one from there, albeit it was its 5th capture in 38 years, the swirly common, gnarly old looking common. So that was something to remember. And again, it was just a distraction. I should have just carried on, kept the wheels in motion, but it was too good an opportunity to miss. And I wandered back to the Woolpack and fished on pit 7, and I managed a couple of real good old carp. And then one autumn's morning, the leaves were just beginning to brown up. The sky had definitely been a lot cooler at night, and lo and behold, quite a rare one to be caught from there. Quite a tricky one to catch, but God, she was a stunner. I'd finished work and I managed to get down just before dark, and I'd found a fish on the back of the wind, and they were having it. They were just heads down. So all I had to do was just flick out a couple of rigs, catapult a couple of baits over the top, minimal amount of bait, and yeah, it must have been about 6-7 o'clock in the morning. A good friend of mine come over and done the photos for me, and it was a what I'd like to call a proper Woolpack carp, old, scaly. Bill Chillingsworth would have been proud, would have made him proud. Old mirror. It was a fitting end to the year. I caught a few more, but yeah, happy days. So we're now into 2018, and to look back and reflect on the last 5 years really is just mind-blowing when I look back at it. I set out on an adventure to fish St Ives, and I never would have imagined, or I couldn't even comprehend of what I could have caught or what was going to be caught. To set off with a complete blank canvas, to set off almost in fear of a place, scared out of my wits, out of my depth, fishing huge expanses of water, to almost catching every single big fish from every single lake, to leaving it to just this one fish, the round brown now. It's just the ultimate challenge, my ultimate goal.